The job of the detective doesn't stop at the arrest. They must gather all the evidence and build a detailed case for the offender's conviction. Often the best evidence is testimony from an eyewitness, witnesses who are hard to find on gang turf.
Whenever a mongrel mob gang member comes to Taranaki, something major happens.
Detective Senior Sergeant Grant Coward was called after a violent attack in a cul-de-sac in New Plymouth. When the Stubbings brothers visited town, they made the mistake of wearing mob colours.
The Black Power found out they were there, so they attacked the vehicle that they were in and attacked Gary and his brother. And they used a slasher and an axe, and there were 3 of them.
Police knew they were up against it. This was Black Power country, and while there must have been witnesses to the vicious attack, neighbours were too scared to talk. No one had seen anything, until detectives knocked on Christopher Crean's door.
It was me that knocked on his door, and he was a family man, 2 or 3 kids, and was a Christian.
So you heard the banging, and can you remember what time that was?
It was roughly about like 1:30. It was about 1:30, wasn't it, love?
Yeah.
And was going about his business as he normally does, but looked out his window and saw what was going on. He identified the 3 offenders. And the 3 offenders were arrested and charged with grievous bodily harm and remanded in custody for a bit, but then released on bail.
Detectives had the witness they needed to stand the case up in court. With the gang members on bail, they offered Crean witness protection, which he refused.
I'm not afraid of these guys, and I'm willing to do this for my community and my family.
At the time of depositions hearing, he was required to give evidence. He stood in that witness box and pointed them out. You know, 1, 2, 3, he clearly identified them as being responsible for the grievous bodily harm on the Stubbings.
The offenders knew that Crean's testimony would put them away for a long time, and they weren't going to stand for it. The same men who'd attacked the brothers weeks earlier returned to the cul-de-sac and Crean's house. Christopher Crean died in hospital, and now the gang was under fire.
The Black Power were rounded up, obviously. There was a few of them. The Black Power president decided to give Queen's evidence if he was given immunity from prosecution, which is rare.
To avoid going to prison with his mates, the Black Power president gave evidence against his own via video testimony from a secret location. Chris Crean could no longer stand in court and give evidence on the attack he'd witnessed. But those attackers would not walk free. Convicted of murder, they were sent to prison for life.
If I look back on my career, I could put my hand on my heart and say, thanks very much, Christopher Crean. You did New Plymouth a favour, because once those 4 guys were convicted of murder, the serious crime level decreased dramatically. And, you know, you could personally thank Christopher Crean for that.